My daughter, Juliana, was diagnosed with pervasive development disorder, not otherwise specified, just after she had turned 3. She's about to be turning 5. She has really had a positive experience with the methyl B12 shots. At first, I didn't see a verbal explosion. She was very verbal to begin with, but echolalic. But there was no comprehension behind what she was saying. A lot of it was echolalia. And one of the things I've noticed with the methyl B12 shots is that there is a cognitive comprehension. She's starting to understand if and then. She's starting to say, will Santa come back if I'm good? Will Santa do this if Brandon is bad, which is her brother? She is very specific in making sure that I understand, that she understands if then. One of the best examples I can give is when she was biting her nails, and she had bitten her nail so badly that it was bleeding. And I said to her, Juliana, you can't take ballet class if you bite your nails. And she thought about this, and a week later said to me, Mommy, do you see my fingers and my toes? I stopped biting so I could take ballet today. And I just thought this was the most greatest thing. She understood if then. The positive thing that I also saw is that her socialization is also starting to come along. She actually asked for a play date with another schoolgirl who is not on the spectrum. She has been multitasking, from skipping and singing and bringing me things to climbing up the stairs foot over foot without a railing, without holding onto the railing. I've seen so many physical aspects that she's spying objects in her path, and then she's stepping over them or avoiding them, whereas before she would simply trip over them. I've seen so many things that are good. I have seen some things that are bad. During the first cycle, specifically during our first 6 weeks of methyl B12 shots, she had started a new stimming, which she had never done before, and this new stimming was her hands down her pants. And this was kind of an awkward situation. I kept explaining to her that this wasn't proper, and she didn't seem to understand that. During the second round of methyl B12 shots, we started to verbally reinforce the positive aspects of not putting your hands down your pants, and that has helped her. She has decreased it because she understands it's not a good thing to do. Again, it's the comprehension is there. She's starting to understand this is not right. Another negative downfall of methyl B12 is, of course, a sleep disruption. And I didn't see it as much during the first cycle. I've really seen it more during the second cycle, where she has gotten up in the middle of the night and climbed into my bed. And I've let her sleep there for a while and then put her back to her own bed. There are nights I have put her to bed and then I've heard her singing at the top of her voice, and she's singing the alphabet or a partridge in a pear tree. And I have to go upstairs and tell her, it's time to go to sleep, Juliana, it's time to go to sleep. So that she understands, this is bedtime, you don't sing in the middle of the night. By far and away the most beautiful thing is to hear her ask for a play date, is to hear her understand if then, is to hear her see the wheels clicking behind the eyes and seeing that she's starting to understand that language is just not a tool that you use to express what you want, but that it's also internal. It also comes from her understanding what's being said back to her and not just her own expressive language. And I couldn't be happier and more excited about doing this. She has really blossomed, and for the most part, most people don't even suspect she's on the spectrum. In fact, the very, very first day after her shot was Thanksgiving Day, and we had the most phenomenal time at my dad's house. And my dad had turned to me and said, "This is not the same child that I saw 2 weeks ago. She hasn't tantrumed once. She's talking to me. She's talking about things in the past and things in the future. She's understanding what I'm saying to her." This was her first day with methyl B12. The comprehension was there. And yet I didn't see that. And one of the things the parent designed report form did for me was made me realize, wait a minute, you're just looking for language, or you're just looking for this magic little thing to pop out, but it's all these other little things that count. It's the comprehension that is the most important thing. the language will follow from the comprehension, and I'm starting to see comprehension with my daughter, and that to me is the best thing that Method B12 has ever done for her.